So, I got this really cool new book today that I've been reading actually. I skipped through like this first section straight to the Book of Shadows. Um, I'm speaking of this. It is called A Witch's Bible, the Complete Witch's Handbook. It is pretty well comprehensive. If you're wondering why, 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 wondering why I am reading up on such a religion, allegedly, are you ready for this? Allegedly, sociopaths can find benefit from seeking out faith. Um, if anything, to just give them a code of honor. Um, and if anything, I really feel like Wicca has a lot to it that I can very deeply relate to. Um, all about just all the good, juicy carnal pleasures in life. Um, that's the gist I get from it. There's some really interesting stuff in here. Here, let me read a little itsy bitsy piece of it. 1 second. Sorry for the wait. Okay. Um, let's see. Ooh, I want to read this first section here. In a formal sense, first degree initiation makes you a rank and file witch, but of course it is more complicated than that. As every experienced witch knows, there are some people who are natural witches from birth, often maybe from past incarnation. A good high priestess or high priest is used to spotting them. Initiating one of these is not making a witch. Rather, it is a two-way gesture of recognition and acknowledgement, and, of course, a ritual of welcome to a valued addition to the coven. At the other extreme, there are the slow starters, often good, sincere, and hardworking people who the initiator knows very well have a long way to go and maybe a lot of hang-ups and false conditioning to overcome before they can be called real witches. But even for these, initiation is no empty formality. If the initiator knows his or her job, it can give them a sense of belonging, a feeling that an important milestone has been passed. And just by giving a sincere postulant, however apparently ungifted, the right to call himself or herself a witch, you are encouraging him or her to work hard to live up to the name. And some presumed slow starters can take you by surprise with a sudden acceleration of development after initiation. Then you know it has taken. In between are the majority, the postulants of average potential and blossoming awareness, who realize more or less clearly that Wicca is the path they have been looking for and why, but who are still only beginning to explore its implications. For these, a well-conducted initiation can be a very moving and powerful experience, a genuine dialectical, what a mouthful, leap in their psychic and emotional growth. A good initiator will do everything to make it so. After all, the initiator is not alone in his or her efforts, and we are not just referring to the support of his or her working partner and of the coven members. An initiation is a magical rite, invoking cosmic powers, and it should be conducted in the full confidence that the invoked powers will manifest. Every initiation in any genuine religion or fraternity is a symbolic death and rebirth, consciously undergone. In the Wiccan rite, this process is symbolized by the binding and blindfolding, the challenge, the accepted ordeal, and the final removal of the bonds and the blindfold, and the anointing for a new life. The initiator should keep this meaning clear in his or her mind and concentrate on it, and the ritual itself should impress the same meaning on the mind of the postulant. In more primitive centuries, the death and rebirth imagery was doubtless even more vivid and explicit, and probably enacted largely without words. Here, we can skip the boring shit. It's not boring. I've read it already. I may or may not edit this. We're gonna let it fly. We're freestyling here. Ooh, what a pretty passage here. Okay, I have to read this though. Okay, in more primitive centuries, the death and rebirth imagery was doubtless even more vivid and explicit, and probably enacted largely without words. Patricia Crowther, the renowned Sheffield witch, tells in her book Witchblood, see the bibliography, how she had an intimation of this during her initiation by Gerald Gardner. The ritual was the normal Gardnerian one, basically the same as we give it in this section. But before the oath, Gardner knelt beside her and meditated for a while. Patricia herself, bound and waiting, went suddenly into trance, which she divorced, which she discovered afterwards lasted for some 40 minutes, and seems to have experienced an incarnation recall. She found herself being carried, bound and naked, in torchlight procession into a cave by a group of naked women. They withdrew, leaving her terrified in bat-filled pitch darkness. Ooh, that's so spicy. Gradually, she conquered her fear and became calm. In due course, the women came back. They stood in line with their legs astride, and she was ordered to struggle, bound as she was, through the vagina-like tunnel of legs, while the women swayed, howled, and screamed as though in childbirth. When she was through, she was pulled to her feet and her bonds were cut away. The leader, facing her, offered me her breast to symbolize that she would suckle and protect me as she would her own children. The cutting of my bonds symbolized the cutting of the umbilical cord. She had to kiss the proffered breasts, and she was then sprinkled with water and told that she was reborn into the priesthood of the moon mysteries. Gardner's comment when she regained consciousness: "For a long time, I had an idea that it used to be performed, something like you have described, and now I know I wasn't far wrong. It must have been centuries ago, long before verbal rituals were adopted by the craft. Death and rebirth, with all its terrors and promise, could hardly be more starkly dramatized. And we have a feeling that Patricia's recall was genuine. She is obviously a natural witch from way back." But to return to the Gardner, here. I've read this shit already, but I'm skipping to the good shit for you guys. Ooh, I think, wait, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? We're extending this video as long as we can. La 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 la. Ooh. Okay. The other exception they're talking about initiation here. The other exception concerns the only time when a first degree witch, and a brand new one at that, may initiate another. Wicca lays great emphasis on male-female working partnerships, and most covens are delighted when a suitable couple come forward for initiation together. One rather pleasing method of carrying out such a double initiation is exemplified by that of Patricia and Arnold Crowther, who are then still only engaged, by Gerald Gardner. Gardner initiated Patricia first, while Arnold waited outside the room. Then he put the Book of Shadows into her hand and stood by, prompting her while she herself initiated Arnold. This is the way it is always done, Gardner told her, but we must admit it was unknown to us until we read Patricia's book. We like it. It creates a special bond, in the Wiccan sense, between the two newcomers from the start of their working in the coven. Doreen Valenti has confirmed to us that this was Gardner's frequent practice, and adds, otherwise, however, we did keep the rule that only a second degree or third degree witch could initiate. Maybe I should go read back on this. I'm guessing a... If I'm understanding the context, the first degree witches are, well, very natural born, so to speak. Very talented, incredibly powerful people. Maybe someone like me. Like, you have to think, I've got that cold reading on point. I see evil bullshit when I see it. Oh, they were talking about real deep natural meditation. Like that real, like you throw yourself into such a deep meditative state that you're... kind of like that. Usually I would prefer to sit on the ground cross-legged and, you know, sit. It's one of the ways that I deal with my urges. Like, it's kind of a last resort. Honestly, I'd much prefer some nicotine or a dab or a drink. But, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you just gotta sit your ass down and keep your fucking tits calm. Some of these people out here, I swear, I fucking hate narcissists. That's the thing about someone like me, is that I have to realize that for the rest of my goddamn life, narcissists are going to orbit me like a goddamn planet, because they can't get enough of me. Yeah, life's fucked, but what can you do? Well, this video has gone on for, wow, over 14 minutes. Well, I think I'm going to call it good here. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Let me know what I've been doing good. If you guys have any great ideas that you'd like to share, please do. Leave a comment down below. Blah, 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 YouTube stuff. See ya.